What do you think the odds are of Robert Saleh returning to the Niners next year? That would involve him getting fired by the Jets. You live out there, although you've been spending a lot of time in Brazil, which is not in the United States. It's in a different.
Not
It's in a different hemisphere.
continent.
But continent is the word that I was looking for. You sometimes live in New Jersey, which is where the Jets play. So what are you hearing? What is keeping your ear to the street? What are you hearing about Robert?
Well, full disclosure, we're not rooting for Robert Saleh to lose his job, right?
Never would root for that.
No. We
No.
want Robert Saleh is a really good guy, and we want him to stay on the Jets.
Absolutely.
And,
Yeah, he's only had 2 years.
Yeah. So if he were to get fired, I think everybody believes that it's a foregone conclusion that D'Amico Ryan is going to get a head coaching job. I think the Niners would probably their defense would have to fall apart for him to not.
What happened last
that
week?
being said, yeah.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't be so certain that D'Amico's going to get that head coaching job, but we'll see. It 100% depends on what he does in the playoffs. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, right. Correct. If
Yeah.
the Niners defense returns to form in the playoffs, or I don't even know if they need to return to form, but if they're respectable in the playoffs, if they're able to make plays, and certainly if they win the Super Bowl, right? I think he'd be up for a job. So if D'Amico does leave and Robert Saleh were to get fired, wouldn't it be almost seamless transition to just bring Saleh back and just have him
absolutely.
come right?
Yes.
Now, would that be best for Saleh's career? I don't know. I don't know that. Would it be better for him to go to another team, another defense, and turn that defense around so that he can then get another shot at a coaching job? Or because I thought of this before coming on, would it hinder his coaching career for him to come back to the Niners, coach this defense up again? They'll be excellent. Would he then get credit for that? Or would they just be like, oh, well, the Niners, they always turn out a good defense. Is it really Saleh? I don't know.
It's a good question. Depends. Well, if they don't win the Super Bowl this year, he could come back and then be like, well, I'll make him a Super Bowl champion. If they do win the Super Bowl this year, how do you improve on that? Unless the defense was, falls apart. In which case, D'Amico probably wouldn't get hired. So, yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure the Niners would offer it.
But hold on. Let's look at it from the Jets' perspective, though. Are they going to fire Robert Saleh after 2 years? Is that what they're talking about in Jersey? Because that seems a little hasty.
I saw it around the internet. That's what made me bring it up to you.
Well, if it's on the internet, you know it's true. No, I saw it too. I saw some report that the Jets owner might not be happy with them. Look, it seems to me that the reason, they were a really good team and then they fell apart. Their entire offensive line got hurt. Breece Hall got hurt. He's really good. And their quarterback, one's terrible and one got hurt. So, I don't know. We gave Kyle Shanahan the injury excuse a million times. Does Saleh not get the injury excuse? And do you really hold Zach Wilson against him or the general manager who picked him?
I also think, Grant, that some of it is stemming from two big names that are floating around out there, which are Jim Harbaugh and Sean Payton. So it's like if Harbaugh is like, hey,
I want that job.
I'm coming to the Jets. I'll take that job. I like that job.
Then it's like, hey, Robert, thank you very much. Yeah, I see that. So he could be at the mercy of Jim and Peyton. And of course, if you're going to fire a defensive coach, you always flip and hire an offensive coach after that. So yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, Robert, I can see that. It's not necessarily that you deserve to get fired. It's that, teams make hasty decisions and they might want, because they're going to need a new quarterback next year, right? So
yeah.
So are you going to bring him in for Saleh or are you going to bring him in for some offensive coach? I don't know.
Wouldn't that be like the Jim Harbaugh job? It's like it's got the defense and everything ready, and you just come in.
That's Saleh built. Yeah, that's great. That's really great. Yeah. Isn't that sort of what happened just to the Broncos this year? They had a really good team, young team, good defense that Vic Fangio made. They get rid of him. They bring in an offensive coach and a quarterback and say, we're good now. That's going to be the Jets next year. They're going to bring in Jimmy Garoppolo and Jim Harbaugh, and they're going to say, we're good now.
And
good
then,
luck.
And And Jimmy Garoppolo's
It'll be
gonna win he's gonna win 12 games and then be like, oh look, it's Jimmy. Jimmy turned the whole thing around.
right. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I don't really see Robert Saleh getting fired. I guess unless Sean Payton says I really want to coach the Jets. Maybe. Could happen. I guess you just laid it out.